In 1938, a German expedition vanished into the white silence of the Garhwal Himalaya, seeking Glary, finding something far older. What began as science and conquest became a race against the mountain itself and the secrets buried in its ice.
It's 2:20 a.m. I'm still buried in the Himalayan Club journals, century-old field notes from the Himalayas. It's like diving deep into the documented history of the Himalayas from the early 1900s. The journals cover everything, from indigenous wisdom, cultural myths, to epic expeditions and groundbreaking discoveries. These forgotten stories are brought to life by synthetic voices in the Himalayan Journals podcast. Subscribe, zone out, binge, and pass it to a fellow mountain junkie.
In 1938, a small team from the Deutsche Alpenverein set out for the Garhwal Himalaya. It was led by Professor Rudolf Schwarzgruber and included Eddie Elmauthaler, Dr. Walter Frauenberger, Tony Messner, and Leo Spanraft. Their medical officer was Dr. Rudolf Jonas. None of them had been to the Himalaya before, though several had climbed in the Caucasus. In India, they were joined by Lieutenant S. H. J. Whitehead of the Royal Garhwal Rifles, who served as transport officer. The team had chosen the Gangotri region for its remoteness and moderate cost. The inspiration came from Marcel Kurz's monograph and Marco Pallis's 1933 expedition. After consulting Colonel Kenneth Mason, their objective became clear: the peaks surrounding the Gangotri Glacier. British and Indian officials gave full support, especially Captain M.W. White of the 9th Gurkhas, who helped with early preparations. They left Germany on August 2nd and reached India on the 15th. From Mussoorie, they began the long approach on August 20th with 59 coolies and 7 Sherpas. Another 30 coolies had already gone ahead with Whitehead and Jonas. Most of the men came from Lansdowne and proved dependable. Their personal connection with Whitehead ensured discipline and trust along the route. At Mussoorie, they met Major G. Osmaston of the Survey of India, who shared maps and data from his recent work in Gangotri. His Highness, the Maharaja of Tehri Garhwal, welcomed them warmly and provided local assistance for the march through his territory. Luck favored them. The monsoon ended just as they began their climb. After a rest day at Harsil, they dismissed a few men and arranged for weekly mail and supplies to reach them even after they entered the higher valley. On September 4th, after 16 days of marching, they reached their base camp, 4 miles above Gaumuk on the right bank of the Gangotri Glacier, at 14,230 feet. Soon after, illness struck. Professor Schwarzgruber suffered from dysentery, and 2 Sherpas fell ill with malaria. The doctor treated them with atibrin, and they recovered quickly. But the leader was confined for 3 weeks. Despite this, the camp remained active. The climbers decided that in future expeditions, more Sherpas should be included, as constant movement left little time for recovery at high camps. By September 8th, 2 climbing parties were ready. Elmauthaler and Messner aimed for Bhagirathi North Peak, 21,364 feet, which Pallis's team had attempted 5 years earlier. The next day, after a long climb on steep snow, they reached the summit, the first ascent of the peak. Frauenberger and Spanraft turned their attention to Chandra Parbat, 22,073 feet. Setting successive camps at 16,000, 17,700, and 19,600 feet, they climbed the west ridge on September 11th and stood on the summit under clear skies. Encouraged by these early successes, they began reconnaissance toward larger peaks, Satopanth, Chaukhamba, and Shivling. But the mighty summits proved impenetrable. Satopanth's northwest ridge was barred by a difficult rock section, and deep snow defeated another attempt. Shivling's steep faces and overhanging ice made every route impossible. Ganahim Bamak, between Kedarnath and Karchakund, offered no easy access either. Messner and Spanraft spent 4 weeks searching for a way up Chaukhamba, climbing Chandra Parbat and Swatchhand Peak in the process, but every approach ended in failure. Later in October, they crossed Burney's Pass to the Arwa Valley, approached from Bhagirathi, and tried the north face. An ice avalanche forced them back at 19,000 feet. They concluded that Chaukhamba could only be climbed by a strong team of 4 to 6 mountaineers, possibly in the pre-monsoon season. While they were away, Schwarzgruber and the others climbed a 20,981-foot peak north of Chaturangi Bamak. From its summit, they saw the barren brown plains of Tibet and a striking white pyramid they named Shrikailash. In the following days, they attempted Kedarnath, 22,770 feet, but turned back when unstable snow threatened to give way beneath their feet. On October 13th, they made their final ascent. Schwarzgruber, Elmauthala, Frauenberger, Jonas, and 5 Sherpas advanced toward Shrikailash, moving carefully through the moraine of the Rockbarn Glacier. Camp 2 stood among ice pinnacles at 18,000 feet. Camp 3, at 20,200 feet, was their highest camp. The night before the climb was bitterly cold, the temperature dropping to minus 16 degrees Celsius. On October 16th, they set out at dawn, roped and in crampons, and reached the summit at 1:45 p.m. From the top, the panorama stretched from Nanda Devi to the mountains of Tibet. At 22,742 feet, this was their highest point and a fitting conclusion to their effort. By October 19th, all parties had reunited at the base camp. They began the return march on the 22nd, reaching Mussoorie on November 3rd. The expedition had charted new routes, climbed 5 major peaks, and brought back valuable observations of a remote corner of the Himalaya. Their photographs, later used in surveys by Major Osmaston, remain part of the historical record of the Gangotri Glacier and its untamed summits.